When I was 9 years old, we fled a war in Bosnia and Herzegovina. We traveled for 2 weeks to reach Croatia. Eventually, in April '94, we reached our final destination, which was Vienna, Austria. I was overwhelmed. I was full of joy and happiness. Everything was exciting for a 9-year-old. I resumed school. I was eager to learn, to read, to make new friends. We moved into a place close to the city center, and I was lucky and got into a school which was around the corner from that place. In this school, I was the only immigrant child in class. I was the only one who did not speak German. So as it was almost end of school year, exams were rolling on. The first one was in math. So given that numerical calculations are the same in almost every country, this part did not pose much of a problem. However, I was left with a text problem. Given that I did not understand German, I had trouble identifying what I was supposed to do. So I get up, approached the teacher, and in my broken German, I asked her if she could explain to me what the text meant. She looks at me, seemingly annoyed, snatches away this paper, and tells me, "You cannot do that anyway." Imagine the frustration of a 9-year-old. All the motivation and ambition and joy made room for frustration and shame. Being humiliated in front of the class because I did not speak German and I could not articulate myself made me for the first time realize that I was not like the other kids. I was an immigrant child from Bosnia and Herzegovina. My own self-doubts and insecurities were born in that very moment. My identity was formed based on my country of origin, and I could not get rid of it. A notion in my head was formed of us and them, and I would lie if I would not admit today that I wanted to be like them. Luckily, a few weeks later, we had to move. So we moved to a district with a higher immigrant population, and I changed schools. This was a whole different world. There were more immigrant children in the classroom and also in the school, and the teachers were experienced in working with kids who did not speak German. I immediately received German classes, and the teacher was going out of her way to make me understand what I was supposed to do. And the best part of it, I met kids who were like me. Kids from Bosnia who spoke German, and kids who did not speak German. I learned German very quickly. Within few weeks, I could communicate with people, and I was writing tests in German. For the first time, I did not feel alone. I felt less different, and I started to feel at home. I eventually graduated from high school with straight A's and went on to study law. Sometimes I stop and wonder, what would have happened had I stayed in this first school? Would I have become the person I am here today? I doubt it. Self-doubts and insecurities are very powerful in determining a person's personality. Someone who feels rejected because of his or her identity grows insecure and full of self-doubts. This can lead a person to either isolate himself or herself, but it can also lead a person to overcompensate for these insecurities. Overcompensation can have different effects. It can be positive. It can lead a person to become hardworking, to excel in school, in order to make up for these perceived inferiorities. But it can also have negative effects. It can drive a person away from the society. The person can develop antagonistic feelings against the society for the very reason because they are not accepted in the society. Only years later, I came to realize it's not about us and them. It's not about giving up my own identity to become them, but it's also not about over-identifying myself with my country of origin, and by doing so, alienating myself from the society where I live now. It is about embracing both. It is about having double or multiple identities. Having identities that is based or that it stems from my country of origin, but also an identity that is connected to the country of my choice. Accepting people with these double or multiple identities make them part of the society. It allows them to develop a self-confidence and self-esteem and make them accept who they are in this society, and by doing so also accept the society where they live. This at least did work for me. The moment I felt accepted and the moment I felt at home, I felt more secure, and I started to accept myself and the society where I was living. I accepted the person who I was, a person with double national identities. Coming to terms with our own identity, whether this identity is based on your country of origin, sexual orientation, or religion, is very important in developing your self-worth and self-confidence. This self-confidence allows you to identify yourself as part of this society, to accept who you are. But it also makes you less prone to develop feelings of inferiority that drive you away from the society. Thus, giving immigrants the space that they can be different, and by allowing them to have multiple identities, will help them feel part of this society. This certainly did help me. I'm Austrian and Bosnian at the same time. Thank you.